sick lately. He's had surgery. He's all fixed up and better now. We've bought a new car. Check this out.
Hey guys, how are you? Well, I have been a bit sick, so I do apologise for unshaven look, but in between being sick and at the hospital bed, I've bought this, a 1983 Jeep Cherokee Chief. Now, it's not a Wagoneer, and it's not a Grand Wagoneer, and my doctor tells me I shouldn't work on it for a couple of weeks, but we don't listen to doctors, do we? Tom's inside. What's it like, Tom?
It's really nice in here. The interior is really good. It feels good.
That's a cool looking steering wheel as well.
Yeah, it's cool.
Very nice. Seats don't look too bad.
Yeah, I think they're pretty good.
No rips or bits and pieces on it.
No, the carpet's good.
Just maybe a nice steam clean to get it back to the good condition.
Sounds good.
All right, well, under the bonnet is a whole lot of engine. This is a 5.9 litre AMC 360, so it's not a Valiant 360, it's actually an AMC, an American Motors company. So it's got a different V. It has got a bell housing at the back that allows it to have a 727 trans, which is awesome because the 727 is the big daddy transmission. This already has a Holly on it. I've had this thing running, which is pretty good. It's got air conditioning, it's got power steering. They threw a battery in on it as well, so we've got a half decent battery. There's lots going on in here. We're going to have to get it all cleaned up. I haven't checked to see if we've got an electronic distributor, but I think we have. But we've got LP gas. So LP gas is going to make this thing cheap to run. It's a beast. 5.9 litres. Yeehaw! So why don't we just get a few bits and pieces done on this little beast, or big beast. We need to do the grille, and we need to do the mud flaps. What do you reckon?
All right, you do the grill and I'll do the mud flaps.
All right, let's go. Old Jeeps like these ones are really cool, especially when they're in good condition. And I had no plans to buy this, but it came up. It was cheap enough that we can make a profit, but I think what we'll do is we'll do a cosmetic cleanup, put some rego on it, put it on the road, so myself and the family can cruise around and enjoy it. And who knows, maybe in summer and spring we might sell it, and again, we might not. One of the first things I'm going to do on the Jeep is just tidy up around the windows here. Now, I've already started where I've painted the edge of these satin black. And this one here, you can see, has really discoloured compared to the one next to it. And the reason being is when you unlock the door, when you go to close it, you close it by putting your hand here. So all of the sweat and bits and pieces off of it has got onto this metal here and really discoloured it. It's going to be nice and simple because all I'm going to do is mask it off, paint it up. The front of the big Jeep is not a bad looking thing to start off with. I've already painted the grille black and also the headlights, but there's a lot of 80s going on down the bottom here. What I'm going to aim to do is take off these overriders as well as this, whatever this thing is at the bottom here, and give it a bit of a fresh, old school look.
So what are you doing, Dad?
Well, Mum's got a friend over, so we can't use the airline. And I want to give the wheels a bit of a tidy up, so I'm just doing this by hand. Check out the one at the back over there. Have a look at that. What do you think about that?
Wow, that looks really cool.
You like that?
Yeah, sure do.
Just to clean them up a little bit. We may not keep these rims. We'll probably just tidy them up just to get the thing back on the road. But I want it looking pretty neat. I don't want it looking like a piece of junk. So let's clean it up. I don't know if you can see it or not, but there's a spring eye up over here, and the actual eye has moved up on the bolt, so we're going to have to probably pull that out and replace the bush that's in it so it locates a bit better. I think it would ride a bit lower on this side, on the driver's side, and the others, and that would affect the toe in and toe out, but there's a good chance we're probably going to lift the whole thing up, so we'll get rid of the springs. But check this out, have a look in here. That's the spring pack there, right? Like, I'll see if I can get something to just have a look at the dirt that's on this. Look at that. That's how old this thing is. Look at it all built up on here. So grease is just, look at that, look at the pack. Look at that. Oh my God, that's enormously bad. So we'll have to strip all that out. And just probably, maybe we'll just replace these springs and that'll give us the lift kit. Yeah?
The other ones, yeah, the other ones are not very
No, the other ones are caked up as well. But that's the cool thing. That's the cool thing about a car like this that is like this. You know that it's all original and you know what you're working with. So it's probably not a bad start to do, because then anything we do to it is only going to make it better. So I've been looking at this Jeep, and whilst it looks pretty cool, I think we can make it look even better. And we can take some of the 1980s off of it and make it look a bit more 70s orientated, because they didn't change these from the 60s all the way through to the 90s. And we're going to start right here. With this strip right here, we're going to take that off, and we're going to take this one off here. And then on the back of that, I reckon we're going to have a different looking rear end. Ooh, knock knock. That would be BB King Ben, the parts guy. Hey mate, how are you?
Good mate, yourself?
Oh, beautiful. You have got parts for the Jeep.
Lots of parts.
Oh, rock and roll. Go down the front of the car, mate. Let's spread her out and have a bit of a look.
Courtesy of Burton's, thank you very much for those guys. What did you do with the greaser? We got the greaser, yeah. What else you got? What we got here? Top hose. Beautiful. Bottom hose. Oh, yes. Couple of belts. Beautiful. Hairy filter. Some decent leads. Oh, yeah, absolutely. 26 need some good sparker plugs. Yeah. That's what we got here. Cool. Oh, yeah. Cool. Beautiful. Oh, the gifts just keep on coming. Oh, yeah, that's the cap. One rider.
As the Germans would put it, Wasser pumpen.
What the pump, yeah? Look, that's colours of Germany. Germany. And you got a thermostat and gasket. Oh, and just a couple of clamps. Full hose. Outstanding, mate. Awesome. Should be a beast in no time. Absolutely.
To kick things off, we're going to need to pressure wash the engine. In order to do that, we need one of these. I've wanted one for a while. I finally got it. It's a weapon of choice. Well, it's looking a lot cleaner, but now's the time to start digging into this thing. So I'm going to do coolant, oil, all the electrical system. I got the air cleaner to do. I got all of the hoses, all the bits and pieces to do. Might as well just jump straight in. Have a look who decided to join us. You woken up?
Yep.
You ready to go?
Yep.
You ready to work on that?
Sure am.
You sure?
Yep. Let's do this.
All right, Tom, so what we have to do is we have to take this distributor cap off.
Yep.
Before we take the distributor cap off, we're going to number the leads. So that way when it comes time to putting it all back on, it's nice and easy to know what lead goes onto what cylinder. Now, there is essentially 8 cylinders here on this engine. We're going to work out what's number 1 cylinder, work out what the firing order is, and work it out from there. So, your job is, on that mobile phone, go to our number 1 search engine, which is Google, and find out what the firing order is on an AMC motor. All right?
Yep.
All right, TJ, how'd you go?
Here you go, Dad.
All right, tell us, what have you got?
So it's a diagram of where the cylinders are. So 1 there, 3,
Yep.
5, all the other
Absolutely.
ones.
So when we have a look over here, the number 1 engine is going to be over at the front end over here. Number 1 cylinder, I should say. So we can name everything,
Yep.
and we can work backwards from there. All right?
Yep.
All right, mate, so I'm right down here doing the fuel line at the bottom. And from factory, they just chucked hoses wherever they could to make them fit, to punch these things out, get them out, and as long as they run, and they're pretty reliable. But the reality of it is, you and me can do a lot better with routing the fuel lines and routing the heater hoses and stuff like that. And this stuff here, a lot of it, from what I can work out for the history of this thing, it's about probably 6 to 7, maybe even 10 years old, some of this stuff. So we're going to strip all the hoses and bits and pieces out, put new stuff in, and she'll be peaches.
Let's do this.
Check this out. This is what you call old school mechanical finery. So obviously this hose was hitting on stuff under there, and so they've actually put these almost like support brackets, protection brackets over it. And you can see they've used the old cable tie, and not a bad piece of engineering, if I don't say so myself.
So what are you doing now, Dad?
I'm just battling the viscous fan, and the viscous fan is like a clutch fan at the front. It works on heat and friction and all sorts of crazy crap that they designed back in the 70s or 80s, I don't know when it is. And my fingers are just too big because the nuts are really small, and I don't want to drop them down into the coolant tub that sits below. That's what I'm trying to get out.
Oh wow, that is tiny. Keep moving. So what are you doing, Dad?
Well, mate, unfortunately we broke a stud off doing the water pump. And so I'm lucky I just broke what's called the cap, which is the top of the head of the nut. So I broke the bit off the top here, and the long bit is still sticking in the actual body of the timing cover. Now, the cool thing about that is if you poke your camera down here, I don't know if you can see it or not, I've got a set of multi-grips on it. And I've just been jiggling and just slowly working it, so it will do exactly what it's going to do right now, which is this. Now, it doesn't always happen this way, because when they break off, sometimes you have to drill and tap them, but sometimes you get kissed on the you know what, and they come out okay. So, touch wood. Right, Tom, let's see how good you are. That's the belt. That's the power steering belt. Do we need to get another one of those?
Yeah.
Cuts, cracks, bits and pieces and stuff like that all the way around.
Yep.
Yep. Looks like a trip to the parts store.
Sounds like a plan. So what'd you get, Dad?
I got fan belt.
Yep.
I got some vacuum hose. I got some heater hose, and I got a trailer load of mulch for the garden.
Oh, nice.
Well, everything's apart, as you can see. We're in full swing, absolute full mode. All the bits and pieces are out, and the engine bay, I've managed to clean it down a little bit. Looks like a little bit of a mess at the moment in here. You can see all the bits and pieces are going on. Everything's off. I've cleaned it off as best as possible. But what I'm going to do now is just start putting it all back together. Like I said, there's a good chance we're probably going to do an engine conversion on this, so we don't need to make the engine bay pretty. As long as it runs good, that'll be fine for us.
Dad, what is going on?
Mate, I made a bit of a mess.
Can tell.
We're going to have to clean this up, but that's all right. I've got it all done. I pushed it all back up here. Let's come around here and let's kick it over. What do you reckon?
Alrighty, sounds good.
Give it a go and see how it goes. So what I've basically done here is it's all back together. It's all back together. The water pump's in. The hardest bit was the water pump because it's right in the middle there. I've run a new cap, new rotor, new leads, new plugs, new heater hoses, new radiator hoses, new fan belts, all the bits and pieces. It hadn't been fixed up, or nothing had really been done to it for about sort of 10 years or so. So hopefully, I've still got to do an oil filter change on it, an oil change on it, and a brake fluid change, but let's see it. Let's kick her in the guts, stay there. Hopefully the battery's charged. Mechanical fuel pump.
There you go. All done.
Just a nice, solid running AMC motor. It's probably a bit tired. It's probably putting out just under 200 horsepower, but enough to push this big old barge around, and maybe one day we'll do an engine conversion, Tom, but right now I think we'll just enjoy it as it is. What do you reckon? Hey guys, how are you? Well, it's a pretty cool and cold Thursday night here in Adelaide, and I've got something pretty cool to show you. Check this out. We have got the registration plates and the registration documents for the big green Jeep. So you know what that means? It's time to go for a cruise. I told you it was cold. And there we go. She's ready to rock and roll. We've got the number plates on, topped up the oil a little bit. Rego's done. Let's start it up. Let's go for a ride, I don't know. Maybe go to the servo, something like that. Check this out.
Hello.
Have a look who's in here. And there it is, guys. Back on the mean streets of Adelaide again. Old Uncle Buck, back out for duty again.